Man of Steel is his least favorite movie of all time.
I think it's the
Yours?
worst. Yeah,
Yeah.
I hate it so much.
You think the Man of Steel disrespects Superman?
I don't think there's a character that has been more disrespected in any property in all of fiction
Then Man of
than
Steel?
Superman and
Nah,
Man of Steel.
Do you think the same or?
I'm
his-
pretty close. I like it a little bit more than him. I think the action is at least a little fun, but like in terms of character assassination,
He's
and
responsible for like 10 9/11s in Metropolis.
True.
he lets his dad die. And
It's because Man of Steel was a character assassination, while this one brings hope to us Superman fans. I want to ground it.
If you're a fan of Henry Cavill's Superman, then you're not really a Superman fan.
I'm just simply pointing out that as of now, Superman's audience score is higher than Man of Steel's audience score.
If you've been on the internet at all in the past month, you've probably seen the crazy amount of hate that the Man of Steel movie is currently getting. And if you're like me, you're wondering why is this happening since it's been 12 years. I think it's due to the Superman movie coming out recently, but it's crazy how many videos you see absolutely bashing the Man of Steel movie and Zack Snyder. Like, the switch up is actually crazy. Like, I'm not exaggerating. If you go on TikTok and just search up Superman, half of the videos will probably just be about how the Man of Steel movie is not good and how it's not comic book accurate. Like, I don't think you guys understand. The trend to hate Man of Steel and Zack Snyder movies in general is so huge that if you even decide to defend Man of Steel on one point, or if you decide to critique Superman, you're gonna get called a Zack Snyder cultist or a glazer, something like that. So I'm gonna cut straight to the chase. I don't know where all the Zack Snyder hate came from, but it's totally unjustified. Bro, you do not know how many dumb edits I've seen of the Zack Snyder movies where they say that Superman is quote-unquote aura farming instead of saving people. I'm pretty sure though that most of the people hating on it are only doing it because it's a trend right now, caused by the new Superman release, which I don't blame them that much, but it's still kind of sad. But to get to the point of the video, I'm gonna show you guys all the reasons why Man of Steel haters do not like the movie, and I'll give counterpoints for why each of the reasons aren't valid, and I'll explain why Man of Steel is at least a good movie. Not a great one, not a masterpiece, but at least a good movie. So the people that criticize Man of Steel, it boils down to 3 reasons why they don't like it. First reason, and the main reason why Zack Snyder and Man of Steel haters don't like it, is because Zack Snyder's version of Superman is character assassination to them and is nothing like the comics or how he's supposed to be canonically. The second reason why they don't like Man of Steel Superman is because they think that he doesn't care about civilians. The last reason, and the dumbest reason in my opinion, is that Man of Steel was too dark and dreary and should have been more vibrant and cheerful in the colors of the movie and also the vibes of it. So I'm gonna address the points in order from least valid to most valid. So I'm gonna start with the point that the movie was too dark. So if you've watched The Man of Steel, you obviously can notice that the colors and the tone of the movie is more serious and more just mature themed. And since it's a more serious type of movie, it makes sense that it wouldn't be as colorful and vibrant because that's not the vibe you're going for. And I guess if you don't like the fact that it's a more serious and more toned down movie, I can respect that a little bit. But at the same time, I really don't get why people are so hung up about how it looks, especially the fact that it's serious. Like, grown men and grown women are mad at a movie because it's not super vibrant and colorful like a kid's show, like Teen Titans Go or Wreck-It Ralph or Guardians of the Galaxy, and that's really weird to me. I really thought the point of superheroes was to see how they would incorporate into the real world if they were actually real, and how their fantastical abilities would mix with the more realistic parts of our everyday lives. Like, I'm pretty sure DC Comics explored more mature and serious themes than they did like more simple and childish ones. So if you're really hung up on the fact that Man of Steel is super dark and dull, drop your opinion in the comments because I gotta understand your reasoning. But on to the next point of why people hate the Man of Steel, and it's apparently because the Superman in Man of Steel does not care about civilians and doesn't care to save them at all. I can already tell you off rip that this take is not founded in facts at all. In the Man of Steel movie, there's plenty of instances of him saving civilians and trying to make sure that everyone's safe. Like when he's a kid, he saves his classmates from a flooding bus, and then when he's an adult, he defends a woman that's getting harassed. He saves workers on a ginormous ship in the middle of the ocean, and he also saves Lois Lane when she was falling from General Zod's ship. And he saves that family that was in the pathway of Zod's laser beams when he was fighting him. But people like to object and say that, oh, what about all the property damage, all the buildings? When he was fighting Zod, there were so many buildings that crumpled and got destroyed because of his fighting and carelessness. For the people that actually believe this, I don't think you understand how unreasonable this expectation is that Superman, who's fighting an experienced war general who has the same powers as him, to not have any property damage when he's trying to destroy the entire planet. And not only is he going up against General Zod and his super-powered companions, it's also his first time ever being a superhero and ever being in actual serious combat. Like, I'm sorry if this hurts your feelings or bursts your bubble, but in most major battles, especially when both of the combatants are super-powered, it's gonna probably happen that innocent people are gonna die on accident, of course. Like, I swear the new Superman fans want Superman to be human and relatable, but as soon as Zack Snyder's Superman makes a mistake, they crucify him for everyone. Like when Clark Kent's dad tells him to not save people to keep his identity a secret, it makes him mad and upset that his dad expects him to just let people die. And with the facts all laid out like this, I really hope that it's a lot more apparent that Man of Steel Superman actually does care about civilians and actually does want to save people. And that leaves the last and most infamous point, which is that Man of Steel Superman is not canonically accurate, it's not comic book accurate, and it's a character assassination of what Superman is actually supposed to be like. I don't think most of the people who say that it's not comic book accurate actually know what they're saying. If you actually read the comics, then you'd know that there's actually multiple variations and iterations of the same heroes in the comic book stories. You might not know this, but even the Injustice storyline came from the comics, which most people aren't even aware of. You could even say that the evil Superman trope was started in 2004 with the Red Sun storyline. So in this context, saying that something is comic accurate doesn't mean a whole lot, because there's multiple storylines of the same characters in the comics. Now people are also upset with the fact that Man of Steel is not canon, which I also think is a stupid criticism. There were 7 Superman movies created before it that were all canon, so it's perfectly fair and smart even to try and recreate it with a new atmosphere that hasn't been done before. This sentiment that it must always be canon discourages the creativity and unique ideas that can come from the new storylines. To say that Man of Steel Superman is character assassination is literal insanity. He acts like Superman in every way. Even Clark Kent is like how he's supposed to be in the comics. I don't know where people get this idea from. I don't know how they get this, but it's just not accurate at all. Maybe it's because of the later movies like Batman v Superman and the Justice League, but Man of Steel was released first, so, and they're separate movies. Like, if you could name one characteristic or thing about the movie that is not comic book accurate, I would love to hear it in the comments, because I genuinely don't think there's a single one. I mean, he saves civilians just like the comics, he doesn't have a no-kill rule just like the comics, he's humble and kind just like the comics, and as Clark Kent, he's also unassuming just like the comics. I honestly don't get why it's so hard to understand, especially if you watch the movie, which I feel like a lot of the people who are part of this trend didn't. Because if you actually watch the movie and you still think these points, I honestly don't know what to tell you at this point. I think that most of the people that hate on Man of Steel are only doing it because their favorite content creators are doing it too. Because there's no way that this many people who watch the movie all the way through and have, decent media literacy actually think that the movie sucks. I just can't believe it. But that's the end of the video. If you think that I made a mistake or I'm wrong in one of my points, feel free to say it in the comments. But this is the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.